Thank you everyone for joining us for the Student Alumni Roundtable for the MA in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. So in other words, TESOL. So I am Dr. Renee Dorn. I'm the Director of Alumni Relations for GSEP. And Sophia Henriquez, she is showing the PowerPoint right now, and she has been working with me on all of these Student Alumni Roundtables. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us. The purpose of the roundtable is so that the TESOL students will be able to get an opportunity to ask questions, to get tips, to get advice from the director of the program and alumni of the program. So for today, we have our director of the program is Dr. Jennifer Miyake Trapp. Some of the alums that are joining us today are Angie Hong, Crystal, now Crystal, don't get mad at me if how I pronounce your last name.
That's perfect, that's perfect.
Okay, great, and Tiffany Bartholomew. So thank you all for joining us. And let's go ahead and get started so Dr. Trapp, could you just sort of give us an overview of the TESOL program and just to let everybody know what the program is. I know some people are already in it, but just to go over the program and what they should expect in order to get through the program and graduate.
Sure, I'd be glad to do that. Of course, alums, 3 of our illustrious alums already know about the program, and the 4 others here are currently in the program, so I hope they know about it. We've worked really hard making sure that they do. So I guess I'll just briefly say that we are really glad that you've selected us. And we have an exciting event coming up, which is our TESOL conference for our students to be virtually attending. So potentially that might be a point of conversation that the alums, especially Crystal and Tiffany, who went to the TESOL conference, could share some advice on how to get the most of that experience. But in terms of the program structure, they should all know. I know Angie worked really hard making sure they knew what they were getting into as well. So we have 3 terms. It flies by super fast. We have wonderful faculty, at least I think, in my opinion, they're fantastic. And they really care about our students. So it's just going to go super quick. And hopefully you'll make connections and relationships with your classmates. We have a really diverse group this year, which is kind of special. And classwork is really hard. It's demanding. I would think it's even more demanding with us being online because you don't have that extra time to hang out after class and ask questions or, meet with classmates to study and stuff like that. So I imagine it's even more demanding in this environment. But we're proud. You all got my email this morning about working hard with some suggestions. So we see you, we hear you, and just really glad we're all here for this conversation.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So for the alums that have already graduated from the program, can you just sort of tell us what you went through and how you actually got through the program? Because maybe you could give some tips to the current students to help them get through the program and succeed just like you did. Let's see, Angie, we'll have you go first.
Okay, great. I had a really great experience, but mine is a little bit different from everyone else's in this group, mainly because I attended classes in Irvine. And then on top of that, we had classes every day, Monday through Thursday in the evening. I think it was 4 to 7 most likely. So I saw my classmates every single day for an entire year, and there were only 10 of us. And so a big part of that is how we survived as well, just because we relied on each other. And it was a really special time, a lot of learning, a lot of growing. and a lot of, cross-cultural learning as well. So I really appreciated that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So, Crystal, why don't you tell us about your experience in the program?
So my experience echoes Angie's, but instead of the Irvine campus, I was at the Malibu campus. And Calabasas, we kind of went back and forth, but pretty much the same. It was a very supportive community. We had a small cohort. I think it was about, I'm going to say 30 or a little bit less than 30, but it was important. Yes, Dr. Miak, 35. 35. Sorry. But we were all very close. I think like we studied together. Whenever we needed support, like even outside of the classroom, we were always on WeChat. And so I think having that strong support system really helped me get through the program.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. Tiffany, what about you? How did you get through the program?
Similar to what Crystal said, that sense of community, but also for me, because I lived on campus, so a lot of, I want to say like half the cohort also lived on campus, so even after class, we would just meet up, do our homework together. Presentations were much easier to do because we were in person. We would go to the library at like 10 o'clock at night to go work on, our projects and things like that, which was really nice and very convenient. And, praying for each other and just like giving each other that support. The WeChat groups were great. Both cohorts keeping us all in the same loop, so yeah, just that sense of community and support, because it's very tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's very challenging, but it's definitely well worth it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I've heard several times that the program is very challenging. So what were some of the
It is.
So what were some of the challenging aspects of the program to you? And how did you get past those challenging parts of it? So Tiffany, I'm going to start back with you. So
yes, because I have things to say. You know what? It's not difficult in the sense of like you can't do it. It is challenging in the sense of the workload, because I always joke that I was making up for what I didn't do in undergrad. I've never read so much like in my life. Dr. Miyake, I don't even remember, but you had us reading like 120 pages in like 7 days, and I was like, what? And she knows when you read it. Like, she'll know if you read it or not. So you had to like read it or skim a little bit. Yeah, that was the challenging part. So you definitely have to be organized. I thought my time management was great until I got to this program. So I had Post-it notes like all over my room. I had an agenda. I have my iPhone calendar. So being organized and really pacing yourself, because you have 4 classes and 4 different professors with 4 different teaching styles and reading content. So yeah, just being organized. It's challenging, but it's not hard in the sense of like you can't understand it.
Okay. So Crystal, what were some of the challenging aspects that you found throughout the program, and how did you get through them?
Pretty much what Tiff said. You'll have like 3 classes or 4 classes at a time. And then, sometimes they'll have like 3 research papers due or 4 research papers due at the same time. And like for me, I'm not good with Google Calendar or Apple Calendar. Like I have to write everything down. Like I have a calendar that I write my deadlines, but not just my deadlines. I write like, okay, so say Monday and Tuesday from like 7 to 10 a.m. Professor Miyake's traps class, focus on that. And then I'll have blocks. Like you have to be so organized, I think, to be successful in this program. So that's one thing that helped me, is just being extremely organized to the T. Like even scheduling maybe your lunch break, making sure you have time for self-care, not to be too overwhelmed, but scheduling everything for every class. And highlighting is helpful too, and post-it for me.
I just sent them an email this morning about time management, making a weekly schedule. And I swear, current students, this was not planned. So that they're saying this kind of reinforces my suggestions to you all, straight from our alums' perspective.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Angie, since you work with prospective students who are interested in the program, I want to get your take because this video could really be shown to prospective students as well so that they can get an understanding of what the program is about and what to expect. So what would you say, or what would you tell a prospective student about this program and some of the challenges and how to get through some of those challenges?
I think, first of all, I try to be as honest with the student as possible, highlighting all of our successes, but at the same time, bringing up potential challenges as well. So as we mentioned, time management is one. Another one that we're currently facing is the inability to truly meet face to face. So, but then on top of that, we're a very relational group of people and we really care about our students and their success as well. And so I think part of that is letting the students know that, hey, you might be facing this and this could become an issue. However, this is how some of our students have handled it or how they have managed it and how they became successful as well. So I guess it's more of hopefully sharing solicited advice to students who truly would like to hear it. So it's really just about laying out the groundwork and then letting them know what's expected.
Okay, oh, well, that's good to know. Now, I've received a question here, and the question is, for the alumni, what would you have done differently? You've been through the program, you've graduated, but what would you have done differently now that you can look back? So I'll start with Crystal this time.
That's a good question. I think I would have attended more networking events and conferences more. Just because, as I was saying earlier, like TESOL is such a small community that it is important to network. And actually, the current job that I work for now is from someone I met through networking. So I think definitely take advantage of going to events like CABE and TESOL, passing out like your business card if you have one, or just even talking to someone in the TESOL field will help. But I wish I had done that more.
Okay. What about you, Tiffany? What would you have done differently?
Time management. It was good, but it could have been a lot better because I definitely pulled more than a few all-nighters. There was a couple of times where I didn't sleep. I would just go straight to class after like doing a paper and doing a presentation. And a couple of times I've actually like fallen asleep in a professor's class. I won't say who it was, but yeah, time is just so essential because you don't want to, run yourself ragged, stretch yourself really thin. So I would have definitely bettered my time management.
Okay. Angie, what about you? What would you have done differently?
I think maybe I could have, maybe like what Crystal was saying, maybe expanded my network a little bit more, get involved with the wider Pepperdine network. Again, just because there were 10 of us and we were in Irvine, so it is a little bit smaller. And then because of that, I think I should have looked at more events or signed up for more events to attend to meet other schools, other students at other schools at Pepperdine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. And then another question I see here is, how did the outcome measure against your original goals? So thinking about when you first started, what your goals were to now, how did that measure out with the outcome? And I'll go back to Angie.
Okay. I think my initial response to that was I came into the program thinking that I would get a technical degree so that I could be paid more because maybe that was the ultimate focus. But honestly, throughout the entire process, I really enjoyed learning and I enjoyed being a teacher and working with students, that became more of the focus. And then I think it really broadened my horizon in terms of becoming a local leader. And then on top of that, how to be a leader within your classroom and within your community as well. So I think that was a lot more valuable than just getting a higher salary.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Tiffany, what about you? What were your goals? Yeah, when you first started, as you know, then you got through the program, and how did that change?
I totally agree with Angie. I was just all about the salary. I'm like, masters, I'll be like on a different pay grade. That's it. But it's taught me leadership skills, as she mentioned, because some of the assignments that we did, like from Dr. Miyake's class, we had to do what was it? Proposal. And for me, I just thought, okay, we're just gonna be learning teaching skills, but we had to like write out like an entire program proposal, and also for Professor Chen's class, writing out like a program evaluation. I didn't really see the connection, but now I do, because I feel like that just made us well-rounded. We weren't just teachers, but we were also leaders. So I thought that was great. And it also taught me to be empathetic, because once again, when I started, it was just, get a master's, get on a different pay level. But now it's just like, I want to, have my students have a certain experience, like not just teach them English, like no, really, show them how they can also be leaders in their communities too, So, and have a voice and, kind of be independent and
right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good to know. Good to know. Crystal, what about you? You started the goals that you had as opposed to the outcome.
I agree with Angie and Tiff. I wanted to get paid more. That's the truth. That's why I did this. But yeah, what Tiff said, I learned way more than I was anticipating. Like I came in just knowing like the practitioner side of it, just kind of like I up until I did my master's, I had learned how to teach in a classroom just from like observing other teachers, but I didn't know the why. I didn't know the theory behind it. I didn't know why this teaching approach was better for this certain population versus um, you know another method of teaching. And you'll find that like in this program, you'll create a whole curriculum. You're going to be teaching in front of the class, in front of your classmates, and like I can honestly say, like I didn't anticipate becoming an online teacher, but now I am, and that's another skill that I could add to like my resume. So I definitely learned a lot more than what I came in with.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Now, at this point, I want to ask the students, what questions do you have for the alums? And it can be anything, even your current classes, anything that's going on right now. You can type it in the chat, or you can just take yourself off of mute, so that we can just have a conversation, because we want to know, how can we help you?
I also want to say, like, I can leave if it's more comfortable for you guys. Like, please,
No, we want you to be here, Professor Chen. You will be
okay,
here.
because I'm not reporting back to anyone, so please feel free to be authentic. I know it's very awkward for students to have the program chair, for alumni to have me here. So, safe space, just ask away, complain away.
This is open for you to say how
but I want to acknowledge the power dynamics at play as well.
That never occurred to me.
Okay, good. That's good. That means that we're working really hard to create the community where you can feel like you can be open and honest. But I also want to own that that's uncomfortable. So
I'd like to ask everyone in the program how this quarter, or what do we call it, this term compares to the next two. Like, if there was a theme, what we're doing right now compared to the next two, if there's a 2 or 3 word answer for that.
Anybody can jump in with that one. Any of the alumni.
I think it will all settle in, meaning I know you are adjusting a lot to the program, adjusting to the schedule, and a lot of the theory is quite hard. But then in the next term, it will come at you a little bit harder in that sense, but then you'll also be well adjusted.
So you think it's a constant balance of theory and application each term?
I believe it'll be more application in the next term, and then also during your summer term as well.
Okay.
You know what, at this point, I do want to ask Dr. Trapp, what should the students expect for all of the terms?
To work really hard. So the way I can tell you the way the program is designed, which may help give you a framework for how to approach each term. So first term is your foundations. It's heavy theory, right? So you're learning second language acquisition, you're learning sociolinguistics, and then you're learning, what's the other class? Why can't I think right now?
Linguistics.
Yeah, applied linguistics. Applied linguistics. So these are all your foundations, and then you get the technology course as well to build up that skill set, which, as Crystal mentioned, is absolutely needed. Most of our graduates are teaching online right now through various companies. So that's primarily what's happening because we can't meet face to face. So it's the foundations and the theory is first term. Then second term, you start moving into the applications. So I'm really blanking out right now. So you all will have to help me. So you'll have your language curriculum class where you're going to start applying your knowledge and build actual curriculum. That's my class. You have your program design and evaluation course with Professor Chen, where you design an entire program. And then what are the other two classes, Angie?
Language, oh no, sorry, pedagogy, was it this term or is it next term?
Pedagogy is in the summer.
606. So we'll have program design, language curriculum, ethics, values, and inclusion, issues and language assessment.
Yes, so you have your language assessment course, which will be with Dr. Steinfeld again. So you'll learn how to actually create assessments. It'll be a little bit different than our Alumni Experience last year because different faculty member, different emphasis. And then in your summer term, you have your capstone where you apply everything and you create your digital portfolio. And then you do your clinical practicum experience, and then you have your ethics, values, and leadership class. That class is always tricky for some students because they think, why do I have to take this? Why does it matter? Well, if you're going to go out there and be a practitioner, you better know your moral compass. You better be able to make ethical decisions that are inclusive and respectful of the diversity of the students that you'll have and the diversity of your colleagues in the teaching faculty. So it's kind of our transition out into the teaching profession so you can be in educational leadership. The digital portfolio is kind of your culmination. It's where you show that you've mastered all of the program learning outcomes. And then
it was part of the program before all this forced shutdown?
Yes, we are forward thinking. You need to create an online brand. And actually, Crystal and Tiffany have done that very well. They've curated websites and all sorts of resources. Tiffany is the expert at digital portfolios, digital journals. Crystal's website looks like a professional website because it is. And her writing and the way that she's designed it really shows her professional brand. So this is an integral part of our program, and that's why you start off first term with the digital collaboration, virtual learning class. So you start building those skills and really think about how are you going to market yourself after and what's going to be part of your brand, in addition to the fact now that it's even more important to have those online pedagogical skills. So those are developed throughout the program, especially under the guidance of Professor Chen.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's kind of like an into, through, and beyond type design of the program overall. So this is your into, building the foundations, then you go through as you start to think about applications, and then you go beyond. So actual teaching, looking at leadership, ethics, and values, and building that final portfolio that you'll take with you. But you'll
Wow.
have to ask the alumni how that intention was actually operationalized and taken up. I can only say from my lens what that is, the intent is.
Okay, so that's a good segue to back to the alumni to ask what was laid out by Dr. Trapp. Did you experience the same thing as you were going through the program, and having that knowledge of what was expected, did that help you to get through each one of the sessions? Either any one of you. I'll start with Tiffany.
So with, for example, the ethics class, I was one of those students that were like, why are we even taking this? But I think that goes back to the whole leadership and just making us well-rounded students, because what I've learned are things that I didn't even think about. So, you know, we can't just stop at being teachers. We're also like leaders in our respective classes, and then maybe even beyond that. So, you know, we do have to make certain decisions, like really heavy, difficult decisions. And the ethics class definitely helped us kind of, you know, think beyond certain like points. And also for Professor Chen's class, I also thought, I'm like, why are we doing like a website? Like, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, they see like the future in this. So it definitely, I put it all on my resume and things like that. So it's really like useful. So instead of like, you know, a prospective employer saying, hey, can you send me a video? It's like, it's already there. You know, can you do a demo class? It's already on the website, like everything they need. I have my program evaluation. I have my, you know, program proposal. I have this, I have that. So it's all there before they even ask for it. So there is, you know, a reason in all that they're giving you to do. So just acknowledging that, I think that makes you more motivated.
Okay. Okay. Crystal, what about you? How did,
I agree. It's very right. So there were some classes that I felt were like I couldn't see the purpose in it initially. I was like, you know, but like language assessment, I didn't even know what an assessment was. I didn't know how useful it was until afterwards toward the end of the program. And now as a teacher, like I do use assessments. I assess my students throughout my classes. And then teaching online, like with Professor Chen, you know, all the the little tricks and trades that she'll show you like in class, like pay attention because I use those now. The ethics class definitely at the end of the program will help you like think deeper as to how to be not just like an effective teacher, but like um, you know, someone who recognizes equality and equity. Just going beyond just being like a teacher in the classroom. The program will teach you how to be a great teacher, which is important.
okay. Angie, what about you? Going through,
I think if I, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go, yeah, just go ahead. Going through each one of these terms, did everything that Dr. Trapp say, was that helpful as you were going through the terms?
Yes, it absolutely was. And then
Around
I
for
guess
Angie's
one,
program. Whatever Angie says. I don't know what to think about it.
it's pre Dr. Miyake Trapp,
Okay.
but we had a
For better
similar
or for worse?
structure. Well, no, so in relation to kind of the scope of today's conversation, in my assessment class, what was really important was the distinguishment between informal and formal assessment. I think a lot of us are really used to the formal assessment aspect of just going through school, becoming a teacher, and then also utilizing assessments. But what was really important is looking at the informal assessment aspect of the lessons. I thought that was really insightful and really great to learn the science behind informal assessment.
Okay. Oh, well, see, all of this is very good information. So I'm going back to the students now. Do you have any other questions regarding the classes that you're currently in, or what to expect in the classes that you still need to take? Any questions?
Well, if no one, oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
I just take it as it comes and, roll with the punches or the waves, surf the waves. And I'm just excited to see like the end of the road. And I was wondering if anyone has taught abroad, like anybody here. I was just thinking that, especially after last night's debate. I was like thinking, would it be easy to get a job maybe like at a university abroad with a master's degree in this?
I'll talk about that. I taught in South Korea, but before the program, and I wish I did it the opposite way because I feel like I did my students a disservice with not having all the knowledge that I do now. But yeah, if you're interested in Korea, you can definitely teach there at university with a master's degree. The benefits are great, salary, housing, the whole bit. You can also teach K through 12 and things like that. I'm actually looking into Hong Kong for either 2020 or 2021. Salary is amazing, like amazing.
Really?
Taiwan, oh yeah, and like I said, the benefits, free housing, bonuses, it's fantastic. So yeah, I think with the master's degrees from, especially Pepperdine in the USA, like going abroad, to me, it's better to teach ESL. You're paid more, you're I think better appreciated, honestly. An English teacher in Asia, they're just like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like you don't really pay taxes. There's just so many, benefits. My advice to like my friends back overseas, I'm like, come here, get your master's, maybe work for a year or two here, and then go back overseas to teach. So if you want to find out more, definitely email me. But yeah, you can very, good opportunities out there for everyone.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sharing.
Julie, is there a specific country that you're interested in?
I don't know. There's been like talk all over that Portugal is like the new cool place to move. So I don't know. I mean, maybe in a year or so. I mean, I don't know. But just like I said, especially after last night's debate, I'm just like, what's happening here? So, I mean, I don't want to get political or go into it, but I think everybody's kind of in shock. So, yeah, maybe somewhere in Europe or South America. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking of Asia. The only place in Asia I was kind of thinking is Japan. But I'm open. I'm open to the universe. I'm just open.
Can I just jump in? So with Europe, the salary isn't that great. Very low. Asia and the Middle East, like Dubai, Qatar, Oman, Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, and China, Taiwan, they pay the most. I'm talking like 2,500 and up per month, and that's not taxed. That's just straight in your pocket. Europe and South America, much, much lower, unless you work for an international school. But with that, you would have to get a license from your state. So if international teachers worldwide make really good money, but if you're looking to go to Europe, the benefits aren't really there, like housing and things like that. That comes out of like your own salary. So yeah, if you get a license, definitely K through 12 international schools. But I think you should try out the Middle East, or like Dubai is, oh my God, Dubai, $4,000 a month. Like, Hong Kong, they start at like 4,000. Japan's really good too, but you also have to take in the cost of living. Japan's cost of living is much higher than South Korea. So I'd be taking home more in my pocket than someone teaching in Japan. So
Right.
Listen, email me. I've done all this research. I know it all.
Oh,
No problem.
yeah, I will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You can email me as well if you like. I taught in Japan and I taught in Spain, but when I taught in Japan, I didn't have a master's. I just had what I have. I just had my bachelor's and a TESOL certificate. But I'm actually looking into teaching higher education in Japan, and for that you would need a master's. So
How was Spain, the Spanish experience?
it was awesome. But just as Tiffany said, the pay isn't amazing compared to Asia.
Okay.
Some parts of Asia, I guess, but living there is amazing. if you're not concerned with the money, you're just there for the culture and to learn a new language and meet new people. And it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad she brought that up. Some parts of Asia, like you're not going to make a lot of money like in Indonesia or Thailand. So I call it like the big three: China, Japan, and Korea. Those are like the top three, and then Taiwan, of course. But yeah, that's a whole separate like alumni roundtable of possibilities after graduation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Wow, that's excellent information. Excellent. Any other questions that that students may have regarding the program, or even job opportunities?
I'll share that the job market is really hard in the States right now. It is incredibly challenging. So, just like kind of Crystal and Tiffany said, the more you network now, the better off you're going to be. But if you're looking at like full-time community college, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. That means budget cuts, right? So things are just really, really, really challenging. So you got to hustle early and make those connections. You all have the TESOL conference coming up. You got to try to get out there, get ahead of things, and market yourself. So I try to be really honest. The job market is very tough right now. It'll turn around in a few years, right? When we get out of this mini recession, perhaps when we have a different, I don't want to be political either, but funding goes based on values. So if, we have a different administration that is really, supportive of our immigrant population, of ESL, of citizenship classes, then more funding will come that way. So, right now, unfortunately, the funding isn't there for adult education programs, for ESL programs, citizenship classes, because, we're not funding that as a value in our society. Same thing with the non-credit ESL classes at community colleges. Unfortunately, we're not funding those in a way that to match the need, the realistic need. So, you just kind of got to be aware of that going into it. And anything you can do to connect with people is really going to be advantageous. So yeah, there's always optimism, there's always opportunities, but it is darn challenging right now. And our alumni can attest to that, as they're also on the job hunt themselves, looking for work. So.
Okay, Jason, you had a. I'm sorry, Jason, you had a.
Yeah, just a quick question. So, what will the Capstone Project look like? Because I was in a different major before in my undergraduate school, so I wonder what's the Capstone Project will look like in this program.
Oh, Angie, you want to answer?
Mm-hmm. I can, or would it be better to come from Tiffany or Crystal, because then their experience would be a little bit more fresh?
Okay, any one of you about you said the Capstone Project.
Yes, just asking.
Okay.
It was hard. You know why? Because I need accountability. I need someone to tell me like when the due dates are and things like that. For that class, it was just like, everything is due this day, you're on your own. And I was like, Professor Chen, you got to give me some dates here. Like, so of course, naturally me, I waited until like the last week to get everything done. Don't be like me, don't do that. That was the hard part, the lack of time management, but it was fun. And you're making a website, of all the things that you did, all the things, that you want to do, putting pictures, that's the fun part. But oh my God, don't wait until the last. Set deadlines for yourself. So make it fun, because oh gosh, that I would do all over again.
So Tiffany, sounds like this one is more harder though than when you're in the undergraduate school, right? Because undergraduate school capstone project, because of pandemic, it's just like students just write their paper, just handing what they have done, then that's it. Because I know.
Yeah, oh, for sure. This program kicked my butt. Undergrad was like a piece of cake. I was like, this is nothing. No, wow.
Oh, Tiffany, I guess the law school may be even more harder, because after this program, I may apply for the doctor degree in education, or I will apply for the law school, because I know law maybe is the hardest one, right? Law.
Yeah. I'm kind of wishing I went to law school now. With the pandemic, you always need lawyers. But yeah.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Now I'll just tell you, law school is a challenge. Mm-hmm. I am a graduate of law school. Mm-hmm. And so that is quite challenging. If you were talking about the reading in this program, you're really going to have some reading in law school. So just be prepared for that. So if that's something that you are interested in. Now, I didn't go to Pepperdine's law school. I went to another law school. But let me tell you, law school is law school. You're going to have a lot of reading, no matter what. No matter what law school you go to, you're going to have a lot of reading.
Thank you for reminding me this, Rini. I have a plan to apply for the law school in Pepperdine University. Yeah, because of my family career. So I will think about the law school, but I know it will be very, very challenging. Yeah, this is the hardest one in the university.
Yes. Any other questions? Any other questions about the program that you're in? Maybe a class that you're taking or a project that you're currently working on? Any questions? You want to make, yes, Sophia, go ahead.
Yes. I just had a question. As an English learner myself, well, when I was little, I had to learn English when I was 7 years old. What advice would you give to the students currently about teaching students and your approach in the classroom? Because I really liked how you all brought up ethics and empathy. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering about that.
I can start because I was also an English learner as well, like Sophia. And I think that really shaped who I was as a teacher. And one thing that I always kept in mind is to use a theory that I learned in my TESOL program, ZPD, zone of proximal distance. It's like scaffolding. And so you are really utilizing that to kind of help learners of all ranges. So first you have to identify that maybe this one is a little bit more advanced in reading as opposed to this other student, right? So then what you have to do is really work between those two ranges and to really help them improve as they move along. So I guess it's learning about the learner, but then also learning how to teach the learner as well, using those steps.
Any other comments regarding that?
Can you repeat that question again? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just wanting to know what is your approach in the classroom, because I really liked how empathy is taught in the classroom and ethics. So I was just wondering your approach in the classroom and how you teach your students.
Either Crystal or Tiffany.
You want to answer this?
Okay. So I mean, I'm not an English learner, but I am an immigrant and I'm learning to speak American English and things like that. So when I was little and I came to the U.S., those teachers had to have patience with me because I came from a different dialect, different standard of English and things like that. So as a teacher with my students, I try to think of like their background. If your student is not performing well in the classroom, it may not be because they're lazy or, they're just a bad student. Sometimes there's so much more that goes beyond that. It might be problems at home, economic issues, just so many different things. And I think that it's opened my eyes. Like there's just, I feel like teachers are so quick to like, oh, you get detention, you get an F+, but why is that student not performing to the best of their abilities? So it really teaches you to be empathetic and not so quick to punish. I think that's an issue with a lot of teachers. I wouldn't even say nowadays, for a long time, they're so quick to punish, but really and that's why it's so important to getting to know your students. They're not just a number, like they're a whole person. They have an entire history, an entire background. Get to know them, their interests, their family. So if something's a little bit off, something is going on. So yeah, just really getting to know them, getting to know their background, being empathetic. I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure.
No, that definitely does. Thank you.
We always say context matters. So we can never forget context. It's never a subject we're teaching or a language we're teaching, because the social, political, economic, everything is connected to anything we teach. And teaching is inherently a political act, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. It is. We're communicating value systems. We're communicating and contributing to hierarchies or challenging them. Even in the dialects we choose to standardize, right? Even the variety of English we teach in the class is an example of a power structure and an imposition on someone over others. So, the sooner you own that teaching is absolutely a political act, the more ethical and empathetic of an instructor you can be. And it's a process. You don't just arrive. I make mistakes all the time. I use the wrong language. I use the wrong phrases. I think I'm being inclusive. I'm actually being exclusive. Like, it's a process of just constantly trying to grow your awareness. And you never get a gold star or stamp that you've got there. You got to own the mistakes, and you got to be willing to constantly learn. And I think that that's one of the special things about this program, is because we do have such diversity of experiences, of ages. We have parents in our program this year. We have second career folks. We have folks who are retiring. We have international students, some who are still in China, like Tommy. We have students who are learning throughout the country. And so I think that's a pretty darn special thing. And will help you to be a better teacher if you embrace that and try to learn from everyone.
Absolutely.
Also, add on just to build a safe space for your students, because sometimes they don't have anyone else to talk to. So I feel like if you build a friendship, like with my Korean students, I was like their best friend. They've told me secrets I'm sure they've never told anyone. And that's really important, because you just, like I said, you just never know what they're going through. So really building that safe space, and especially if you're going to teach abroad, as we were discussing before, we don't want to impose like our own traditions and our own, you have to learn English because English is taking over the world, but really showing them, how their sphere can be better with the English language, like, these job opportunities. So I feel like as an American, it's really difficult to not be, what's that word? Like impose like, Western ways and things like that. So yeah, if you're looking to teach abroad, definitely got to take that with you too, because a lot of people don't like Americans, they think that we know everything. I've heard that comment a lot. So in that context, really, just showing them how this can be of use to them. It's all about your students, not about you, all about your students. How can this be of use to them and their future?
Okay.
Sure. Not just teach them, but you're also learning from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a question here. What can be expected from the California TESOL conference?
I'll let the alumni respond, but I also want to let Tiffany and Crystal know that it's all virtual. So that experience might be kind of different. So if you can think of ways of navigating a virtual conference experience and still make connections and do that networking that you both were so successful with.
I'll start. Jamie, you'll learn a lot at the TESOL, different workshops. Try to attend as many workshops as you can, I think. I myself was like hopping around every room because I wanted to learn everything that I could. But some of the things that I learned was what was one of the workshops? Oh, trauma-informed care, which is basically like if you have a population of students who have experienced trauma, you have to kind of teach them a different way than you would say, I don't know, other students. So there's a way to do that. There's another one, like how to best address multiple intelligences, because students learn different ways. Like they're visual learners, or they're auditory. They learn by listening, or they learn by kinesthetic movement. So how do you address? How do you teach students that have all types of different ways of learning? There's that. You just learn so much. So I think like it would online. I don't know how that would work. I guess you would just hop into each room, but you learn things that you didn't know, like math, topics that actually matter as a ESL teacher.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the students?
Professor Doran, can I just say something? In regards to
Sure.
the TESOL conference, since it's online, when we were in person, like, we had our business cards, we were handing them out, we were making conversation with people. Dr. Miyake, like, she was introducing us to all those people. But since you don't have the opportunity, don't let that stop you in networking. I think, reach out to the speaker, like email them, be like, hey, I really enjoyed it. Can we set up like a Zoom meeting? Maybe take note of all the people that are in, you can see like the attendance on the side. Just like reach out to them like, hey, I saw you in the Zoom meeting, can I get to know you, talk to you, whatever like that. It doesn't have to come off like, do you have a job for me after graduation? But just, like, what is your path, your career path, what did you do, that kind of thing. It's kind of like a little mentorship, like, what do you suggest, that kind of thing. So yeah, just like put your email in that chat box, reach out to them after the fact, so yeah, don't let this online space like stop you. It will be a little bit more difficult. You'll probably have to be a little bit more proactive. But that's what emails and Zoom and Skype is for. So
All right. Great advice. Great advice. We're coming close to the end. So are there any other last maybe questions or comments? Any questions from the students or any comments from the alumni or Dr. Trapp?
Oh,
Any
yeah,
last
I
few
have one.
tips? Oh,
Um,
yes.
no, it's still about the TESOL conference. I think we had an email of the flyer that lists all the workshops and the activities. And I'm trying to find it. I'm afraid I cannot. When was that? You guys know when was that mail? When did that mail came out? 'Cause
Tommy,
it's like,
you're
yeah.
gonna go through the conference planning with Professor Chen this Thursday in class.
Ah,
And she's gonna
cool.
walk you
All right.
through how to navigate the online platform, since it is different this year in the virtual
Mhm.
space, and kind of give you tips. But you guys are way ahead of the game, because you heard from Crystal and Tiffany about like kind of firsthand what to look for and how to navigate that. But Professor Chen will be walking you through, because we do understand for most of our students, this is the first time that they're going to a conference, and they may not even know what it is at all. So that's why Professor Chen will take time with you to go over that.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
I want to thank you, Dr. Dorn, for creating this space. We work really hard to create spaces. We just had community time earlier in the week with our MS and TESOL students combined. And we've been doing tons of workshops at night, which is why they look so exhausted, because we're trying to just create spaces so that they all have lots and lots of support. So thank you to the students who came today. We really appreciate you. Hope that you'll pay this information forward from our alumni by sharing it with your classmates, because this is a really special opportunity Dr. Dorn and Sophia have curated. And thank you, of course, to Angie, Tiffany, and Crystal. You make us proud. We're honored that you keep coming back to share with us. It really means a lot.
That's
I have two
wonderful.
pieces of advice before we jump off. I think it might be a little helpful, but one of them is to like not only like listen to what your professors are teaching, but actually watch them. Especially like Professor Cornell. As I said in our graduation video, I'm like I stalk him, like I watch him, like he's doing this, he's doing that. So really like watch them because that will come in really useful like when you're doing like your practicum or even just like your teaching exercises and things like that. So yeah, not just listen to what they're saying or read the book, but really watch like what they're actually doing. And my second advice is to like don't be afraid to ask for help because there will be some times where like everything is due on the same weekend. Thankfully a couple of my fellow classmates would reach out to a professor, be like, hey, can we have like a 1 week extension? Definitely don't take advantage of that, but if it's you really need just like, hey, I just need 1 week, the worst that they can say is no. We've always gotten yeses, but if you're sincere about it and you don't take advantage, definitely don't be afraid to just be like, hey, can we get a 1 week extension, a couple days, so.
All right. Any other tips or last bits of advice for the students?
Maybe if I could just say it really quickly. Oh, sorry, Crystal.
No, I was just like, good luck and make sure you get a lot of rest. That's it.
And
I also wanted to add, oh, sorry, Dr. Dorn.
No, go right ahead.
If it's okay, I just wanted to also, let our attendees know that our faculty members work so hard for us, and I cannot think of any other program where the faculty members are so open and so inviting towards their students and who care so much. And so it's always important to make sure that we appreciate our faculty members as well, especially the one who has dedicated her lunch hour to us. And Dr. Nancy Trapp probably didn't even have to be here, but she's always there. And that is invaluable. We cannot get that anywhere else.
Thank you, Dr. Trapp. Thank you to our alums. Thank you to all of our students. I hope you got a lot of information from this Student Alumni Roundtable. As you see on the screen, we'd like for you to fill out a short evaluation just to let us know from Alumni Relations how you liked the Student Alumni Roundtable, if this is something that you'd like to see again. This is a QR code, so you can just put your phone up to that and scan that so you can go ahead and fill out the form. But I'm also going to put in the chat the link for the evaluation. So you can also click on that too. With Alumni Relations, we want everybody to be able to get involved. And so there's a second QR code for Alumni Relations for any kind of activities that's going on within GSEP. We'd like for you to let us know what you would like to be involved with. So you can use that QR code to go straight to that link. And then if you ever need anything from Alumni Relations, we are here for you. And this is our contact information, our email, which is gsepalum@pepperdine.edu. And then our phone number, 310-568-5649. And if there is nothing else, I thank you so much. And I went ahead and I put the evaluation link in the chat, so you can click on that if it's easier for you. And we just really thank you so much for joining us today. It is exactly 1 o'clock. So we look forward to getting your evaluations and letting us know how we did, and to let us know if this is something you want to do again. So thank you, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
And Julie, don't forget to reach out if you want to talk more about teaching overseas. So me and Crystal, we got you.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm interested. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye, Julie.
Bye.